All right, we're continuing our foray into historic markers here in Monroe County. This thing hates me. Um, so we're here. We're looking for more and trying to get them all so you can learn along with us about the history of this county. So stay tuned. We're going to continue going. And if we run out of time, we'll go into a part 3. So stay tuned for more Monroe County. Okay, we are at the Col William R. Morrison home here, right beside the public library. It says William R. Morrison, destined to be elected a colonel during the American Civil War, was of Scotch-Irish descent, born on September 14th, 1824. Although raised on a farm, upon his father's remarriage following the death of William's mother, they moved into town where his father operated the Old Ditch Tavern, a political and social hub of the region. Morrison became interested in politics at an early age, admitting in later years that by the age 7 or 8 he always visited the polls on Election Day. William was educated in country schools and spent 4 years at McKendree College. His military experience included both the Mexican War, where he enlisted as a private in the 2nd Illinois Infantry under Colonel Bissell, and the American Civil War, serving as a colonel of the regiment which he organized. The 49th Illinois Infantry, he was shot in the hip while serving as brigade commander in the siege of Fort Donelson. His wife took him home to recover, but upon hearing of the disaster at Pittsburgh Landing, he again left for the front. It goes on to talk about his focus as politics, lots of things that he was elected to, different things. I think is after he had been elected to the 38th Congress, he wrote to the Army to have his resignation refused. General Grant wrote, "Resignation not accepted. Colonel Morrison is too good a soldier to spare." It was only accepted when the matter was taken to President Lincoln. In the last years of his life, he did resume practice of law here in Waterloo, which is at the home that we're outside of, pictured here. And the home was left in his will to the city of Waterloo to be used as a public library. So it was used as a library, and the library stayed in his home until 1996, when it was moved next door into the newly built library building, which is over there. That's the library now, but the house is still here, and it looks like it's still well maintained. All right, we're here outside the new Waterloo Fire Department for this bell right there. And here is the marker we're looking for. It's the Waterloo Fire Department Memorial Bell Plaza. By ringing this bronze bell cast in 1894, early members of the Waterloo Volunteer Fire Company were called to action to assist their neighbors in times of emergency. Since that time, the bell has graced every fire station the Waterloo Fire Department has occupied. While no longer used to summon a brigade of men to aid the community, it is now dedicated as a memorial to all citizen firefighters of the Waterloo Fire Department, past, present, and future, and their selfless commitment to the people of Waterloo. Dedicated on October 8th, 2017. With my brothers, I will protect. Okay, we're here at the VFW Post in Waterloo for the Metzger-Crook Post 6504. In January 1946, several overseas veterans of Monroe County began talking about the possibilities of organizing a Veterans of Foreign Wars post in Monroe County. Raymond Ostrich, Frank Eichelman, and William Emick were among these men, and that same month they went to Belleville to see Charles Iringer, adjutant of Belleville VFW Post 1739. With his help, and after several communications with national headquarters, the first meeting was held at the Monroe County Courthouse on February 14th, 1946, with 14 members present. At this meeting, the name of Metzger-Crook Post was selected, honoring the memory of the first two Monroe County boys who gave their lives in World War II, Monroe F. Metzger and William P. Crook. The Metzger-Crook VFW Post 6504 was chartered on April 27, 1946. The purpose of the organization was and still is to provide support for surviving heroes of wars and honor the veterans of Monroe County. Charter officers were John Mitchell, Commander, Robert Limestall, Quartermaster, and Raymond Ostrich, Adjutant. Metzger-Crook Post 6504 held their first meetings at the county courthouse, City Hall, Potler Park, the Labor Hall above Whelan's Tavern, and Oddfellows Hall. Land was purchased in August 1949, and the post began construction of this building in 1951. Commander Robert Schaefer, with several other members of the post, investigated the possibility of purchasing 2 Army barrack buildings from Jefferson Barracks. The post voted to purchase the buildings, and the barracks were soon dismantled and moved to the present site. Practically all labor to build the post was volunteered, and materials were donated or greatly discounted. The Metzger-Crook VFW Hall at 406 Veterans Drive was dedicated on September 26, 1954. All right, we're here in Waterloo, and this is the Conrad Kolmer family cabin, and it was moved. It says the farm was purchased in 1851, and the cabin was moved from their 125-acre farm 2 miles west of Waterloo. And there is another cabin on this site. As well get it too. This one's the Schatte Cabin. And it was another cabin that was moved and donated to Peterstown Heritage Society. So there we go. Alright, this is the Peterstown house here in Waterloo, and we are here for this marker, Peterstown and the Merchant Prince. The north end of Waterloo was originally called Peterstown for Emery Peter Rogers, 1795 to 1859. Coming from Massachusetts in 1816, he started with 5 acres here on the west side of the Kaskaskia Trail, where he operated a grist mill, woolen mill, rope factory, carding mill, cider mill, carriage factory, brickyard, and quarry, in addition to his general store. He is a jack of all trades. Whoa. As commander of the ship Trumbull, he took a sloop as prize. He was discharged December 31st, 1779. He was one of the first to clear Monroe County forests and make improvements. As an ordained minister, he preached 60 years, delivering a sermon in the Waterloo Baptist Church in 1845 at the age of 90. Both father and son are buried in the Waterloo Cemetery. We're in Waterloo, Illinois, at the St. Paul Evangelical Burial Ground, and we're here for this Veterans Memorial. Has several different symbols on the rock. American Legion, GAR, World War veteran, U.S. veteran, American Legion Auxiliary, World War 1917 to 1919. But stone was rededicated in 2002. I imagine that's when it was relocated to this location. All right, we're here in the, the Old City Cemetery, and we're here. There are World War I grave markers, which was an Eagle Scout project by Sam Thomas in 2018. And the one that was actually that we're actually here for is this one here, which is Civil War Grave Markers, which was a 2015 Eagle Scout project by Shane Douglas. And so it's all of these markers here were for the Civil War veterans here. And then later on, another Eagle Scout came and added two for World War I veterans. And there we go. Cool, Eagle Scouts, they rock. All right, we're outside the Waterloo Fire Department. This first marker says Ford above it. And it says, near this marker stood the boyhood home of Thomas Ford, from 1800 to 1850, 8th governor of Illinois. He held many public offices before serving as governor, 1842 to 1846. His mother, Elizabeth Forker Ford, a pioneer schoolteacher, raised her 7 children in a log house on the west side of Main Street, just south of the Ditch Tavern, where the first court in Waterloo was held. George Forquer, his half-brother, and Daniel P. Cook were the projectors of the town of Waterloo in 1818. Forquer later served as Attorney General of Illinois. And this marker is also outside of the Waterloo Fire Department. The Ditch Tavern was the first hotel in Waterloo, located on North Main Street and run by David and Hannah Ditch. David H. Ditch owned the land on which Waterloo was built until it was purchased by George Forquer in 1818. The old tavern in Waterloo was picturesque. It was a large log cabin standing well back from the street, leaving a beautiful front yard with fences graced by stately hollyhock. It was here at Ditch Tavern that the first court was held when the county seat was moved from Harrisonville to Waterloo. Ditch Tavern also served as headquarters for Circuit Judge Silas Bryan. The Ford and Kaskaskia Cahokia Trail Monument, which we just looked at, plaques in honor of Thomas Ford, marking the Kaskaskia Cahokia Trail, were placed by the Monroe County Historical Society on a concrete obelisk at the Waterloo Firehouse on North Main Street. This monument still stands today. Thomas Ford, who spent much of his younger years at Ditch Tavern, became a lawyer and served as state's attorney of the 5th Judicial District and became judge of the Circuit Court for the northern part of the state. He was elevated to the state Supreme Court and then elected the 8th governor of Illinois from 1842 to 1846. Ford County is named in his honor. He is buried in Peoria, Illinois. Elizabeth Ford, his wife, is buried in Waterloo. Rogers Female Seminary. One of the early educational institutions of Monroe County was the Rogers Female Seminary, which opened in 1872. The building stood on the west side of North Main Street, just south of the Dupuy home. Okay, this marker is again in front of the Waterloo Fire Department, and it's for the Kaskaskia Cahokia Trail. And it says 40 miles to Kaskaskia and 20 miles to Cahokia. Here past the ancient trail, trod first by buffaloes and Indians, then by explorers, traders, and French settlers of Kaskaskia and Cahokia. Revolutionary War soldiers with George Rogers Clark made the first permanent American settlements along this trail in the 1780s. We're outside of Waterloo, Illinois. At this old cemetery is the Martini Cemetery, also known as Gettlestown Cemetery. From 1862 to 1942, you are gone but not forgotten. And looks like it was donated by the descendants of the Eberts. I'm not going any closer because there's some poison ivy out there, and I really don't want to get poison ivy. So, here we go. All right, this marker is on the side of the courthouse here in Waterloo, and it is in memory of Monroe County World War veterans, April 6, 1917 to November 11th, 1918. All right, this marker is on the side of the courthouse here in Waterloo, and it is in memory of the Revolutionary Patriot of Monroe County, Illinois, and lists those who died in the Revolutionary War, and also mentions the unknown Revolutionary Patriots. So this is pretty cool. All right, this marker's on the side of the bandstand here on the grounds of the courthouse in Waterloo. And on this side, on August 25th, 1840, Abraham Lincoln presented a political speech for the Whig Party at the Monroe County Courthouse. Okay, this is the bandstand here on the grounds of the Monroe County Courthouse, Waterloo. And we're here for this marker. It says Waterloo Municipal Band. Tuesday night band concerts have long been special in Waterloo. One could go uptown on a beautiful summer evening and listen to a free concert with family and friends. Ice cream and popcorn always available as a special treat. The city has always had a love for music. One of the early bands in Waterloo was the Enterprise Band, May 1908 to 1918. One of the annual events they played at was the school picnic. The Enterprise Band was the nucleus for future bands. And it goes on to talk about the directors, and they formed a local marching band to replace the Cape Girardeau band hired each year for appearances in the homecoming parades. It was erected in 1957. So here's some pictures. All right, we're here on the grounds of the courthouse here in Waterloo, and we're here for this statue and plaque that is for the Bison. And this statue pays homage to the buffalo or bison, which roamed the uplands of Monroe County thousands of years ago, trampling down prairie grasses, creating what became the Kaskaskia Cahokia Trail. The trail was also used by Native Americans and was first mentioned in European settlers' writings in 1718. It later was used by early residents traveling on foot, by horseback, stagecoach, and wagons. Today, its path is closely mirrored by modern roads for motor vehicles. This statue, donated by Edmund E. and Violet L. Hartman Cooker, was placed here in 2014. More of their artifacts are displayed at the Monroe County Historical Museum. We're on the grounds of the courthouse in Waterloo, and we are here for this marker that's beside this beautiful fountain here on the grounds. This is the Ziebold Fountain. Mary Ziebold, native of Waterloo, went off to study music at a young age and made a name for herself as a talented opera singer. Through studying music abroad, she maintained an intense, though studying music abroad, she maintained an intense love of her hometown. Ms. Ziebold presented a vocal concert to raise funds for some type of gift to the citizens of Waterloo. In 1897, she donated a fountain to the city of Waterloo to symbolize the electricity and water service provided to local residents, as well as to proclaim her love of animals. It was placed in the middle of the intersection of Main and 3rd Streets in front of the courthouse, and when horses and dogs trotted the streets of Waterloo, it provided a place for them to drink. The fountain included a large basin on top, providing a place for horses to drink. It also had a smaller reservoir at the base for the satisfaction of dogs. As horse traffic waned and motor vehicle traffic increased, the fountain was moved from the street to the courthouse lawn. It was placed over the location of the courthouse well so that the source could be used to provide circulating water to the fountain. From this angle, it's very beautiful. Now it looks like the reservoir for the dogs at the bottom has not been placed here, but it is still a functioning fountain, which is pretty cool. Alright, this marker is for the Courthouse Cannon. In 1865, County Clerk Ambrose Horner heard that the federal government was liquidating assets from the recently ended Civil War. He thought it would be appropriate for Monroe County to have its own ceremonial cannon. Horner organized a concert to raise funds to purchase a cannon. The money raised by this event was taken to Jefferson Barracks, where a shiny brass cannon was acquired. The cannon was kept at the courthouse and for many years was fired to celebrate the passing of New Year's Day, Independence Day, and several other prominent holidays. The firing of the cannon was not acceptable to all, especially those who owned buildings around the courthouse square. Imagine that. It seemed that the concussion of firing the cannon would many times break windows in the surrounding buildings. I oppose that as well. When county officials prepared for the July 4th, 1882 Independence Day celebration, the cannon was nowhere to be found. They found the carriage on which the gun was mounted, but the cannon was missing. That holiday was celebrated without the firing of the cannon. All efforts to find the missing cannon were unsuccessful. As the 1916 Centennial of Monroe County approached, planners felt that the cannon would provide the ceremonial boon they needed for a successful celebration. County Sheriff John Burkhart indicated that he had heard rumors that the cannon may be in the courthouse well. On the day before the Centennial celebration in January 1916, the sheriff ordered the water removed from the well and the cannon was recovered. With little or no preparation, the cannon was hoisted onto the carriage, loaded, and fired. As Monroe County celebrated 100 years of organization, the cannon was fired every hour on the hour. Oh my gosh, the results were the same. Aggravated neighbors and shattered windows in the buildings around the courthouse. Oh my word. As the years passed, the cannon firing continued as a way to celebrate the holiday. On January 1st, 1918, the cannon was fired to usher in the new year, and there was a violent explosion. A local newspaper account of the event. The cannon exploded, and its remnants scattered to the four winds of heaven. Some pieces were found at once. Last week, a heavy rain caused a leak in the high school roof. On examination, it was found that a large piece of the cannon, weighing perhaps 20 pounds, was found to have fallen through the roof, tearing a large hole in it. This school is fully 2 blocks from where the cannon was fired. Thus ended the short life of the Monroe County Courthouse Cannon. Oh, that is amazing. That is so cool. What a story. Okay, we are outside the Waterloo City Hall. And this isn't on the list here, but I wanted to show you the what they've done with one of the old telephone booths. They have turned it into a little lending library. So that's pretty cool. I like that idea. All right, we are here for the sign for the Waterloo City Hall. And it says the Waterloo City Hall is situated on lots 75 and 76 at 100 West 4th Street in the southerly block between Main Street and Church Street. And lots of reading here, as you can see, with the history of the property and the City Hall. So there was a home there, it had a drugstore in it, and I love this name that they gave this, Needles and Gall. That's awesome. But it goes on. Their son was the longtime curator of Monroe County Historical Society and operated a TV shop there. So it goes on, but it was demolished in 1996 so that the new City Hall building could be constructed. Joseph W. Hilton built the Hilton Hotel in 1854 on the south side of 4th Street. The 2.5-story hotel featured 10 rooms and 6 fireplaces. He operated the hotel as well as a livery stable and stagecoach line next door, adjacent to Needles and Gall. And he had other businesses downtown that he operated, and the stagecoach and the livery service those areas. But it goes on and talks about the different land and what was used in the different places, the Waterloo Fire Department, all of those things were on parts of the land that is now owned by the city. Well, I guess the fire hall was owned by the city. There was a house adjacent to the firehouse, and it was the owner of that house's duty to ring the alarm when there was a fire. So it's pretty cool. Lots of things. The city hall offices were when they were built, the old city hall and firehouse building and car wash were demolished to make way for the parking lot. So all of that was here. There's the city hall, and up there's the ooh, there we go, the water tower, and on back down to here, which there's the parking lot. So all of this was located on this land. Here is a picture of the Hilton Hotel that was talked about. All right, we're here at the Saints Peter and Paul Catholic Church for this marker right here. Ooh, lots of stuff there. Okay, there is a lot of reading on here, and I'm just going to read the very beginning of this, and then I'll show you the rest. You can pause and read at your own leisure. Saints Peter and Paul Parish was founded in 1843, when on May 7th, 1843, the first Catholic baptisms of Catherine Glessner, Jacob Seiler, and George Miller were recorded by Friar Patrick McCabe. He was an itinerant priest from Ireland who opened the records of probably a dozen parishes in southern Illinois. At that time, the patron of the parish was St. Francis of Assisi, and the cornerstone was laid for the first church in 1849. However, the building of the church was delayed, and the parishioners were few in number and poor. Nevertheless, in 1852, a small brick building was built that served as a church. In 1859, a 20-foot-long addition was made to the church, and in 1862, the church was dedicated. According to the history of the Diocese of Belleville, it was dedicated in 1862 by Bishop Henry Damian Yunker, then Bishop of Alton, who placed the parish under the parsonage of Saints Peter and Paul. In 1870, plans were made to build a new church. It was completed in 1883 and still stands today. And there's the architectural information if you want to pause and read that. And it continues up here, and I will go slowly so you can pause as you need. Here is information about martyred nuns. The church outreach organizations. Continued up here. And then the list of priests. Alright, y'all, this has been the further adventures of Monroe County Historical Markers. I hope that you are continuing to stick with us through this. We're going to be continuing to find these markers and get them all done. So stay tuned for the next episode of Monroe County Historic Markers.